Would people know I was a foreign student? What were the prevalent TV show and pop culture references? I tried to blend in as best I could, but I constantly mixed up common phrases. It wasn't until I got to business school 6 years later, to the amusement of my friends, that I found out that the phrase I thought was dog-eat-dog world was actually dog-eat-dog world. In retrospect, my entry into America was incredibly privileged compared to so many of those I would later work with through the course of my immigrant rights work. I was on a student visa, I spoke fluent English, and I was not completely new to American culture, given my international school education in Indonesia. Still, I was far away from my parents, with money to call home only once a year, and I was homesick. My first week of college, I decided to combat the homesickness with a reminder of home. I walked into town and bought a beautiful poster of the Taj Mahal to pin on the wall of my dorm room. My next-door neighbor, who came from a very wealthy family, came in and excitedly asked if it was a picture of my house. I honestly thought she was joking, so I decided to joke back. "That's just the servants' quarters," I said. "The house is too big to fit on there." To my complete amazement, she believed me. "Oh my goodness," she said, "are you a princess?" It was beginning to occur to me that she thought I was serious, but it was too good a prank to let the opportunity go. "Yes," I said modestly, "I am a princess, but I don't like people to know that." She left and I laughed myself to sleep. Some days later, I was at a party, and as I was introducing myself, the person said in awe, "You're the real live Princess Pramila." That was when I realized that many people in the United States really didn't know much about the rest of the world. In Indonesia, my friends were from everywhere, what was then Yugoslavia, Turkey, Japan, Mexico, Kenya, and across Europe and the United States. My parents spoke multiple Indian languages, and my mother was learning German as we were growing up. At school, I took both Bahasa Indonesia, the language of Indonesia, and French as an elective. Most of my friends spoke languages other than English. Places on the big globe that rotated around in our world history class felt near and relevant. It made the whole world seem so small and familiar. America was relevant to everyone else in the world, it seemed, but the rest of the world didn't seem that relevant in Washington, D.C. America. I found a friend living on the floor below me who was from New Orleans, and we made a pinky pact that when the first snows fell, we would find each other to share our first sighting together. When that moment came, we ran out with no shoes or gloves or hats, caught snowflakes on our tongues, and made angels in the snow. We were completely and totally enthralled by the white blanket that covered the Georgetown steeples. Every Sunday, I sat down to dutifully write to my parents. For school breaks, I would either go to visit one of my aunts who lived in Maryland and Ohio, respectively, or I would go to my best friend's house just half an hour from Georgetown. Her family was a wild and welcoming Irish Catholic family with 6 girls and a cooking fiend of a mother. They welcomed me in completely, like another daughter. In the midst of the family cacophony around a Washington NFL football game and a heaping table of food, I tried to forget that it still wasn't home. People often ask me what it was really like to leave home at 16 and come to America by myself. The truth is, I think I put away all the hardest experiences in the recesses of my mind. It was not until recently that I revisited those memories. I was visiting my parents in India when I came across a treasure trove of my old aerograms and letters my mother had saved. The aerograms, which consisted of a folded sheet of paper that was the cheapest method of airmail, were crammed with tiny writing. The letters were on thin onion skin paper, also cheap to mail. Some typewritten on the brand new IBM Selectric typewriter I had purchased so I could make a little money. $1 per page by typing papers for my classmates. I spent hours reading those letters at my parents' house, sometimes with tears pouring down my face. I viscerally re-experienced the pressure to succeed that an immigrant daughter feels. There were regular reports on my grades, accounts of how hard I was studying, and the apologies and